We have to start realizing that when we think these thoughts, our body is responding. So the more we start slowing down the mind, the more we will become aware of how the body is responding to the mind, and vice versa. That's how we start cracking open those deep-seated programs, is once we start listening to how the mind and the body are reacting to each other. Hey y'all, it's Callie and welcome back to my channel. I am a certified embodiment coach, and on this channel I like to talk about embodiment, inner work journey, healing, mental health, spirituality, and life's aha moments. Today I am going to talk about thoughts and beliefs and what that has to do with embodiment. So stick around and we will dive right in. So recently, I not only did a teacher training program 2 years ago to be an embodied dance teacher, but as they say, you have to do the work to be the work. So I have been incorporating this into my own practice and sort of making it my own as well. So for me, embodiment exists through dance. It exists through just intuitively moving myself when a thought pattern arises or a feeling arises, just allowing my body to take over and seeing what it needs to do. That has also been painting or like singing, even if it's not an actual song, just letting my voice do what it needs to do. Even with breath, like anything that the body is guided to do. I've been playing around with this a whole lot recently, and there's so many ways to do it, but I want to talk about why this works and what that has to do with your beliefs. So, when we have a belief system, this is a program that has been set in you since you were a child. And these programs start running automatically throughout the duration of your life. They keep going and going and going. So at first they start as conscious, and then they just start running on their own, just like you were freaking breathing, okay? And what happens though is that these programs are generated around the stories that we tell us about certain ourselves about certain events, and the beliefs that we have around them. So what happens is we become a byproduct of these unconscious beliefs / programs that we run by on a daily basis. We have no idea that this is what we're running by. So you might have a belief about abandonment. You might have a deep-rooted belief that your mom is going to abandon you, and you might not even know it. But because it was created in you when you were so little and you didn't know how to regulate your nervous system, and you just thought that to be true in the moment, that carried with you for the rest of your life. And that shows up in the ways that you interact with yourself, the world, people, everything on a daily basis. And what happens is we realize that at some point the way we're doing things is not working. Why do I keep attracting certain people? Why do I keep attracting certain events in my life? Why do I always feel this way when the certain issues arise? Well, it is the program, it is the belief that is running in your mind, your subconscious mind, and it is in your body as well. So, what can we do about this? Well, first of all, you have to want to figure out what these beliefs are. Because I find, and with myself in particular, when I have been trying to make changes with my habits and with what I'm trying to manifest in life, thought patterns, all of that stuff, is trying to figure out what my beliefs are. And the problem is I've had so many beliefs that I didn't know that I actually had. So sometimes, yes, it's the belief, but yes, it's figuring out that you have a belief that you don't know about, because it's not that it's consciously in your mind. So the way we start figuring out what these beliefs are is through the inner work. And y'all, I feel like this is common knowledge now. There are so many ways to start figuring out and putting into practice ways we can become aware of these beliefs. And for me, what I feel like works best is becoming in tune with what the body is telling you in conjunction with your thought patterns. So whatever our programming is what the source of I call these organic thoughts. If this is a term that I picked up, then credit to whoever, but this is just how I like to explain it. Our program is what is giving us our organic thoughts. So what is naturally coming to our consciousness, right? Versus the thoughts that we try to affirm to ourselves, or other people affirm to ourselves, like from outside source. So that is kind of like a superimposed thought. And what happens is you can affirm something to yourself, or someone else can affirm something to you, good or bad, all day long. But if that thought isn't coming from your programming, it's not going to do anything, because it's not your organic thought that's coming from your internal self. So unfortunately, what that creates these are the unconscious beliefs, create the organic thoughts. Well, we want to change the organic thoughts that are negative, so we have to rewrite that programming, because we can have organic thoughts that are good or beneficial to us, and we can have some that are not. So, but if we don't change the program, then it doesn't matter what you say to yourself, the same thoughts are always going to arise, whether they're good or bad. So, what that looks like when we try to change it, well, first of all, you have to slow your mind down. This is a daily practice. And this can just be 5 minutes that you dedicate to yourself each day, and slowly progressing. But finding that place to where you slow your mind down and start becoming aware of what's flying through your mind. And once you start becoming aware of what's going on in your mind, you will notice that your body is reacting as these things are coming up. And this is where I feel like many people say, oh, I don't know how to meditate, or I can't meditate, I'm not good at it. No. I actually encourage you in your meditation, if you notice that you're geared to start sitting a certain way, or something feels weird, as that's happening, notice if there is a thought that is instigating that movement in your body. And this could be like, curling your hands up, clenching, an itch, like a leg twitch. We have to start realizing that when we think these thoughts, our body is responding. So the more we start slowing down the mind, the more we will become aware of how the body is responding to the mind, and vice versa. That's how we start cracking open those deep-seated programs, is once we start listening to how the mind and the body are reacting to each other and our thoughts. And from there, you can start playing around with, when did I first start feeling this way? Why do I start feeling like this in my body when this certain thing comes to mind or this memory comes to mind? Then that's your little rabbit hole to start diving deep in, but you have to slow that down first. And then you can open up a memory. You might find that there was an instance, say in childhood, where maybe your parents were fighting and you start having this memory and recall having a feeling in your chest, and you're actually having that feeling as you're recalling a memory. And that's where you're going to find these programs and belief systems that you've created in childhood or that have been implemented on you. From there, that's where the work begins. We start figuring out in that moment how I created a narrative or a program for myself based upon something that happened. And from there, you will change your organic thoughts. You'll understand that because this happened when I was little, I made it mean this about me. And so now I have a thought that I am not allowed to be who I'm supposed to be, or my mom is going to leave me, and therefore that is running my mind. And we finish by allowing the body to finish processing that emotion. And then you start bringing in what you want to bring in to rewrite that program. So guys, I don't want this video to go on way too long, but this will be sort of like the part one of understanding your thoughts and your programming and how to use embodiment in order to rewrite the program. So if you all have any questions or thoughts about embodiment, or have noticed certain patterns, leave a comment below. Please like this video and definitely share this with anyone you think that would help, and please subscribe so I can reach more people. All right, bye y'all.